RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
BooBaes.
Guess what, you guys? Guess what?
Guess it.
We are BooBaes, but my favorite podcast, Two Girls, One Ghost. Love them. They're literally the only podcast I religiously listen to still, like the day it drops, other than this one to hear what it sounds like. But every Tuesday they do a thing called Campfire Stories, and I got to speak and tell one of my ghost stories about my mini haunted dolls. And
that's so exciting.
It was so exciting.
Yeah.
And they looked it up, and Corinne, one of the hosts, she was like, "Oh my God, your artwork's so cute." And I was like, "Thank you." And then they really loved the name. Yeah, I was like shaking while talking the whole time. I couldn't, it's a blur. I have no clue what I said. I have literally no clue.
It's okay.
And Corinne was like, "I'm going to listen to your episode on the strangers tomorrow on my walk." And I had to go back and listen to that episode this morning because I was like, "Oh my God, is this good enough for Corinne's ears? I don't know."
It is.
But
hopefully they'll love it.
Quite a few people from the chat said they were going to go follow us. So if you're here from TGOG, hello
and hi.
Welcome to the other side.
Yeah, this is BooBaes.
This is BooBaes.
I'm Joshua.
And I'm Caitlin, and we are your BooBaes. We're spooky.
Ooh,
and we're here to talk
24/7
about all the fun horror films. And
we are.
Super, well, this one today's kind of sad.
It was very sad. Depressing. A little depressing. And it really kind of had no resolution at the end. Really,
no,
because it's just kind of we'll
like,
get
is it gonna
there,
start?
Yeah. All in all, it was an interesting movie.
It's a Shudder original. It was one that I had seen. So we're retroactively going into Pride Month.
Right.
Now 2 weeks prior, because last week we had to re-release an episode due to personal reasons. And now we're like 2 weeks into July, but it's fine.
Okay. It's all right. Pride is 24/7.
Pride is 24/7.
Not even necessarily
365.
You know what? It just happens to be, and there should be more horror movies with more gay characters. So
that's true. There is not. There's some queer horror, but they're not like a standard staple. Like I feel like most of the time in some queer horror, it's like kitschy.
Yeah,
almost.
It's either campy or it's like they die first or something like that,
And so this
was like a story.
They die last.
That was kind of it was kind of more so a drama that was like put in a horror setting, if that makes sense. Like because it was kind of out there. What was happening? But
definitely, it's a wild movie. We've totally should tell you the name of this movie.
I felt like I like that we're building up the suspense about it.
It is.
But yes, we should. Caitlin, would you like to do the honors?
This movie is, like we said, a Shudder original from 2020, and it is called Spiral. And we are following a spiral into somewhat madness. Oh, does this even have anything in it?
No, it does not.
Oh my goodness.
But it's okay.
Today we're drinking sake.
We are drinking sake.
I love that the Strangers episode literally starts. Oh my God, I don't know how much I just poured you.
That's fine.
It literally starts with
2
hello
ounces.
from your hungover bays. And then the other one I mentioned because I specifically referenced a Two Girls, One Ghost episode in it was the Crimson Peak one because of the caves. And that one also starts off with
we're hungover.
We're hungover because it was the one we recorded after Friendsgiving. And so it's like
be a reoccurring theme.
Oh my God, they're just gonna think that we're completely wasted on the
No.
I mean,
that was 2 episodes out of the how many, but I'm sure there were countless other episodes.
I was like, there's so many
where
more.
it wasn't mentioned. But we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can basically guarantee if it's the Sunday morning that we've recorded, we're hungover.
Probably hungover.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Anyways.
We are here. We're drinking. We got the sake. We're talking about Spiral 2019.
Mm-hmm. Is it 2019?
Is it 2019?
I don't know. My Shudder said 2020.
It might be 2020.
But my Shudder led me astray another time.
I'm looking up like what I have pulled up right here, and it says 2019, but I'm sure that it could be that it was like obtained or released. I don't know. But
it's a Shudder original though. So yeah, this definitely does say 2019,
right?
I want to kill myself.
That's okay. No, you're good. There's no need for that. We'll go back. I'll go back and we'll confirm it next time. I can actually probably do it right now.
I was like, I looked.
Oh no, look, because even right here it says Shudder 2020. So
okay,
there's some kind of
2019/2020 question mark.
Yeah, but
moral of the story: I'm never gonna trust my Shudder dates again.
So you could actually we'll have to talk to them about that here pretty soon.
Yeah, Shudder, get your shit together. I'm just kidding. Please forgive us.
But it has a few actors that I've seen before. Basically, Jeffrey Bowyer-Chapman, and Lochlyn Munro. I think that's how you say his name.
Lochlyn.
Lochlyn. Yeah.
He's
Lochlyn.
been in lots.
Yeah, like I've always seen him as just, and I feel like he always plays kind of like a villain kind of type of character.
That's right. He was in Riverdale. That's right.
Was he? And
he was in Freddy versus Jason.
I think Thomas Elms as well. Yeah, he's been in like kind of a character and everything. Like never like too much of a main character, but like a side supporting character.
Like
the original
show. Yeah,
he's been around for a while now. Night at the Roxbury.
Oh, he was in Scary Movie.
The Register. I don't remember him from that, but also it's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Yeah,
the original.
How fun though.
Thomas Elms, I've seen him before in a few things. But yeah, it's set in 1995. That's so we're not now nowadays we're taking it back.
Ty Wood also looked familiar. This kid.
Oh,
his lips looked
boyfriend.
Weird. Yeah,
Tyler.
Something about his lips. Oh, I think it's. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, he was in The Haunting in Connecticut. Who did he play in that? His lips looked really weird. I felt like I remembered him.
Was he the young boy from the?
I'm not sure.
Haunting. And so the movie essentially opens up with
he was the younger brother.
The younger brother in that one,
I think.
Gotcha.
We covered that one, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyways,
no, you're
good.
Lots
of familiar faces, definitely. And because I've even seen her, Chandra West, who played Tiffany.
Her face does look really
familiar. It looks really familiar. But it also could just be one of those faces, I guess.
I'm sure she's been in something else, like as a supporting role.
Yeah.
But and her character, whenever she enters the door comes to the door, saw your gardener. But anyways, the movie opens up and we kind of get this scene where 2 boys are making out in the back of a car.
And it says December 12th, 1983.
Specifically, yep. And we have like some headlights shine in on them. And, we're led to believe then, obviously something happens, but then it cuts to opening up on our main, I'd say he's the main star of the movie, Mr. Malik. Yes.
Definitely.
Played by Jeffrey. And he is in the car and they're driving to their new
house.
Hometown. Yeah. Wherever they're going. Did we ever get a name? It was East.
I don't remember ever. They just
name.
Always referred to it as the city.
Yeah.
Said we're going to move, we're going to go back to the city. Or they did mention New York specifically.
That they moved away
once
from
or twice.
Anyways.
And then, they just said that they moved from the city, never to specifically where. And then, yes, this is where it tells us December 7th, 1995 that this is happening.
We have them moving, and then essentially they're just talking and stuff, and then we have them crossing the bridge, and then we have a bird. It was a bird, right?
It's a bird. I have no clue. I was like, something hit the window, and it kind of got me.
I ran it back, and it was a bird.
Okay.
But at first, I thought, like, was that like a bullet or like a rock or something?
Yeah, I imagined it was a boulder.
Yeah, because of how like
a face shape.
How much of a it was a jump scare, and it did scare me as well.
Yeah,
it got me because it's right like
because it's just in the middle of a conversation,
and it's like 3 minutes into the movie, and it's just like, oh, boom,
and everything seemed. I mean, with other than like there seems like there's some trauma that we're getting at the beginning. Other than that, it's just a very like calm, very. I mean, I feel like every horror film that goes into a secluded kind of we're going away from the city has that long drive in.
Yeah,
which they then. You know, it's always pretty serene. Nothing ever happens on that drive. Except for so many parts of this film, I was like, did they just like go copy paste from Get Out? Because the deer hitting the windshield as they drive in, the whole fact that it is a like century long thing of like, this is the way that it has to be. There's always going to be someone who someone's going to fear and pin it on something. There were a few different instances in here where I was like, this is very much Get Out. And Get Out did come first. And it was...
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, this was good. I still enjoyed this movie, and I would recommend it to anyone. Obviously, I mean, I'd watched it before, and I was like, I didn't remember what happened. I was like, I just remember there's some gay guys and a cult.
I can definitely see that. It's kind of a mix of like a few different movies, actually. Like there's just a few different ideas going into it. And I watched it last night, and then I rewatched it today, taking notes, and there were certain things like today. That's when I noticed like, oh, it was a bird, because yesterday I thought it was like
just
something or someone threw something at them.
Yeah, I mean, because stuff like that can happen.
Sense.
It could just be shrapnel, something that was in the road. But yeah. Anyways, scared us.
Literally.
I really did like. Sorry, I did like the shot there though, wherever it shows like both them and her with her face being like dead right center of the target, essentially, because she is the target. They're going for her.
For the young girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
daughter.
pinning
Kayla,
it on the gay dads.
Kayla, Malik, and Aaron. And so we have them at the new house. They're kind of doing what everybody does when you don't have all your boxes unpacked. You're just kind of sitting on a bare floor, and they're eating pizza, and they're he's sharing a story about how he lost his virginity. And they're kind of talking him and the young daughter, and then the dad's like, do you hear that? And at this point I'm like, oh, okay, it's already starting, but it's kind of like a false whatever, because then he's just like, we hear nothing, and that's when we kind of get that, because
it made my ears perk up. I was like,
I was like, something's about to happen. We're getting that backstory of like how they moved away from the city because I guess they're trying to get away from like
all the noise,
the busyness, the
how
hubbub.
loud city life can be.
Yeah.
I personally, the dead quiet seems to scare me a little bit.
Well, didn't the daughter says that silence is deafening, right? Yeah.
She sure did.
She is very cryptic, but that's kind of how all, I guess, 15-year-olds are in 1995, right? And so, yeah, they're sharing stories. That all happens, and then
he says you'll be 100 years old when you lose your virginity.
Oh,
because she asked her dad.
That was weird.
She looked at Aaron. She was like, "How did you lose? Did you lose your virginity, Mom?" And he was like, "Yes, when I was 100, just like you'll be." And then I don't remember what she said.
How do you know that I didn't already lose it?
That's
and then
right.
That's whenever Malik is like, all right, that's
He's
enough.
He's like, you're done.
You're done.
You're done.
He literally says you're done. Yeah. And so after that, we see that someone's outside the house already in like a little hoodie.
Yeah, it was like some
and
weirdo.
Is watching the house. So next day we have unboxing and stuff, and then we get sidetracked because Kayla finds like a little photo book, and then Malik and her go through the photos, and that's when we have him like sharing old stories with her, and then they find a picture of him and her dad, and did I say that? Him and her dad? Yeah, in drag. And I love how he's like, we're beautiful, and she's like, y'all are ugly.
Yeah. And
it was like, dang, girl.
Like, this is art.
Yeah. And then it shows a picture of them. I'm like, oh my God, they look so busted.
Yeah, I was like, because there were some other photos as they were like flipping through where the makeup looked a little more put together and stuff, and like more like how we envisioned drag. Yeah. And then this looked like,
it was like just two boys dressing up for Halloween.
Yeah. And not like actually like doing drag justice.
Drag has elevated since 1995.
There was one point where she was getting ready and she was putting mascara only on her bottom lash. And I was like,
maybe that was 1995.
The 90s are hard.
Is that, yeah?
I mean, I was born in 94, so I don't know.
We were only a year old. I was thinking about that.
I'm like, why would I want to emphasize only my bottom lashes?
Maybe for like the drama. Because
know.
I feel like that was more of like a, I don't want to say gothic, but like, you know,
yeah,
grungy.
I mean,
grunge.
I always
right?
like drew the raccoon eyes, like with my charcoal eyeliner, just on.
Well, I feel like that's very like scene kid, right?
Yeah, that was.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'm just like
hardcore 07.
You know what? Tomorrow
07,
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna put mascara
for
only on the bottom lash. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that.
Yes. Oh no, I'm not drawing on my eyes with fucking charcoal liner. No, hell no. That was not. That look needs to
stay there.
Stay in 2005.
There
okay.
was a time and a place.
Not coming back.
And it's past. And so we have them going over that. He kind of pins it up on the wall, so that's kind of foreshadowing because I'm like, that's definitely going to come back later at some point.
And is this where he tells her like the choosing to live your life loud and proud is the bravest thing you can do?
Yeah,
and like the bravest thing you can choose to do in this world, because
that comes back later.
Yeah,
well.
And I mean, you have to be brave to come out.
Oh,
at all.
Certainly, and I think also especially because this was set, it's 1995. I mean, it's 2022, right?
And we're still fucking struggling.
Still have
to
deal with homophobia and stuff. So back then, just imagine, even just a few years ago. So yeah, and it's, it's regressing apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah. Ugh. So we then have, I guess, right, the old neighbor is watching him because he steps out like the next day or during that day.
Well, here we do get a scene of the broken glasses, and this is where it shows us the actual trauma of the boyfriend, who I'm pretty sure is Liam. Got beat up. And so Liam is not real when he's talking to him.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Liam got murdered.
And so that's like how sad that he just kept the broken glasses too. I don't know.
And so many people have to go through that.
The Haunting of Bly Manor. You haven't seen that one.
I didn't. I got a few episodes in and I didn't remember.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember when that like eyeglass dude pops up and becomes a thing. I think it's later, like episode 5 or something. Yeah. Anyways, anytime I see glasses now, I'm like Bly Manor.
That reminds you of that. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's a good that's gonna come and circulate throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it's kind of what's driving the idea that Malik could be mentally unstable, or is. I mean, he is medicated
a little bit, yeah,
but he's like functioning.
There's just like everyone, he's got trauma that he's going through. He's got shit that might even
Aaron's high key a little callous to him at some points.
He is.
Like,
I wrote that
Aaron.
He's a little mean.
Yeah,
he's insensitive.
I was like,
at points.
His boyfriend got murdered in front of his eyes because he was gay.
And like at a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when he says something like, I thought we were past this now. And I was like,
yeah.
Do you ever get past that?
No,
I don't think so,
trauma that carries with you. And it's giving very PTSD as well.
Yeah.
That he's still
this whole thing,
with.
I mean, he's being targeted, being attacked. Ugh.
And so we have him having that flashback. And then the next day, I think he runs or something like that, right? Yeah, and kind of clears his head.
Taking out the trash, something.
And that's when he sees the old man, and that's whenever he's just kind of looking at him, and he just like shakes his head and turns around away. Whenever he starts to wave at him.
And it's like, yo, could you be a little more cryptic?
Yeah.
And it turns out, I mean, he is the good guy.
Yeah.
He's trying to help, but
it gives very much hate.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Like he has to know how that's coming off. I would have been like, hi, oh my God, welcome to the neighborhood. Slipped him a piece of paper.
Yeah.
They're trying to fucking kill you. Oh my God.
But he's working through his own trauma. They're all
no one can see, but I was like smizing real big and like not moving my smile while saying that.
Yeah.
So you got to give like that like performance face.
You have to do
not I'm disappointed in you face.
And so we then later on get like this little interaction between the dad and Kayla because she's on the phone with her boyfriend. I guess they're long distance, and then it's kind of important, but not really important to the story, I would say, because
I mean, it does get brought up a few times
because of the other neighbor kid.
Yeah, and like,
but essentially, it doesn't really because she ends up being all cutesy
sorry,
with
I'm
the
referring to the AIDS comment that he makes.
Oh no, sorry.
But yes, I mean, I do think it is important to know that she had a boyfriend previously. I mean, because she mentions to him at one point, like, well, I have a boyfriend, and he's like, well, you have to choose, and then you see this bitch with a girlfriend. He's like, fuck you, motherfucker. I don't know.
But yeah,
the boyfriend makes a comment, says, "Don't share any drinks with them," and it's like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. He said whenever the dad closed the door and he was kind of listening in still, he said, "Hey, just do me a favor. Like, don't share any drinks with them." And
gotcha.
He says that. And at first I was like, is that? And then I think a few other
references
where there's references to the
kind of like it's brought up one time more in the car later at the end, but there's 2 times. I guess that one I only caught the one other time whenever they were on the couch with the neighbor couple and they were discussing whenever like a high risk couple. But was there another one other than that?
No, I don't think so. I think it was only then, there, and then the car as well. The car.
Okay.
And if there could have been something else.
But it's true. There was very
it
much
was at the time.
At the right after the height of the AIDS epidemic in the 1980s, but it was still, in the 90s, so it's still going.
Pretty fresh.
95, yeah.
People
and there's a lot of uneducated
clearly.
And ignorance. About
not as
the
much
subject.
Access to information back then.
Yeah. Well, there was actually a suppression of information. Yeah. But yeah. So, anyways, we have a little bump in the night, and Malik wakes up, and he kind of is checking around the house, and it's very suspenseful. That
it is
like the movie, the drama that's gonna build up in this moment, because I'm expecting something to happen already, and
I know because
I was kind of wanting something to happen, to BH, but it sounded like
they fake you out.
But then
because I was like, what the fuck kind of? I was like, that is the loudest ass tree branch I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, because he sees something, we don't see it. And he's just like, okay, whatever, and turns around and goes back. And I'm like, wait, what? We're not going to investigate more? But then the camera pans around, and it's the branch that's hitting against the window outside.
And it's fucking loud.
It is very loud.
They did do a good job of leading you through each hallway and everything and really building up that suspense, like you said. And I would have woken someone up, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's too intense of a loud banging to be, because,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't have enough tree branches that hit my windows.
They can get pretty loud.
But I thought it was always like... like
no,
little.
I've had some. My parents' house, my bedroom had a lot of trees right outside of the window, and they would
hit
whenever
like
it get really big,
so
like
scary.
Stormy.
Because it could just crush you.
I'm
just afraid of everything.
I actually had a fear of that. Actually,
I would
that a tree would fall. Because we had a lot of trees, big tall trees, right next to my bedroom and my sister's bedroom, and then also watching Donnie Darko of like the plane engine falling through, so then I just kind of equated that to like the tree falling through. It's gonna go squish me. But anyways,
so many ways to die.
So 1,000 Ways to Die. Remember that show?
I do.
So unfortunate that I remember that.
Just added to more trauma.
Yeah, literally.
Or paranoia rather.
And so it's the branch. The next day we see him. He's cutting off the branch as one.
It was
would.
a nice cut there too.
Oh yeah.
I like the way that it like went just from the banging to harsh bright light with the sound happening. I liked that. I thought that was artistic.
There's a lot of different cuts in this movie that were like, I felt like they were trying to be artistic in a way. Not that I'm gonna say they were all like 100% like.
Some were a little forced, like the spiral that happens with the Matthew,
the tub, and then but
they do put and
that's the one that I was thinking of, literally
spiral imagery.
That I was thinking of, and like it's almost there. I just almost feel like in what it is probably too is just like budget. If they had a bigger budget, this could have been more elevated.
So wait, you didn't like the blood spiral? Because that one was subtle, and I thought it was just like a pan in on it after she was washing, so that one made sense.
But then the drain and then him coming up.
But then wait, so does Matthew pop up immediately after that?
Yeah.
And then that's the one where he's like, the whole shot is turning. Okay, yeah, that one was cheesy.
Yeah,
I liked the blood in the drain though.
No, yeah.
I was like, that's subtle. That's
it led
nice.
right into that coming up. Yeah,
I see.
It's more the transition, but I guess I do see if they would have just left it with just the drain and like the shower and the blood, that would have been cool. I get what you mean.
Yeah, you gotta have a little bit of brains to catch on, like, or just be paying attention.
Because it's subtle. It's like you wouldn't necessarily think about that, but there's, it's kind of in most movies, everything kind of happens for a reason in movies.
But this is where she walks up.
Yeah.
And God, yeah, fucking what was her Tiffany? Tiffany is her name, right?
Mm-hmm. The neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Neighbor lady. She walks up to the door. She's, hi, I'm your new neighbor. I just should have stopped by earlier, but I saw your gardener out there.
So I figured you were home.
Yeah, literally. And so that's whenever he's like, gardener. And he's like, wait, what? And then he's like, oh. And then he's like, that's my partner. And then she's like, oh. And that's whenever he comes around and puts his arms all around him.
Doesn't she say that?
Yeah, she's like, oh, you're one of those. I was like, we don't have too many of you around here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any of you in town. And it's like.
And that's when he's like, what did he say? I don't even remember. But Malik says something about, not a little sassy, but like kind of like, oh, really? I don't know.
And I think she said, nothing ever changes around here. And that felt threatening to me. Like, we don't want change. Yeah.
Because what else is that supposed to mean? Mm-hmm. It's very cryptic. It's like under the nose.
And the plant she brought them is the plant from the book. But it is ugly.
It is from the book that we find later.
Yeah.
Yes, that we see later.
It looks very.
You know what? It gave me Little Shop of Horrors.
Venus flytrap.
Yeah, Little Shop of Horrors type of plant. Seymour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we have her kind of throwing under. It's like shady, but not shady. The way she's talking to them, because
it's a very backhanded compliment.
Yeah, her face does not move. Also,
she
like
had too much Botox.
Yeah,
her cheeks were stuck in that upright position.
Very Stepford wife.
Rosie, hello. Yeah. What can I do for you?
And so they kind of are just like, oh, okay, get the plant. They set it down. And then after that, we have I just gave them an ugly plant. The daughter is sassy. Why was the daughter sassy?
I don't know. Mine put nothing ever changes around here. And then I put, not the guy smoking a cigarette on the hood of his car. Because she was, I think maybe she said she's going to go apply for jobs.
That's right.
So
she was like
riding her little bicycle.
She was printing stuff off of his printer paper and stuff. And he was like, you owe me money. And she was like, oh, my dad's money?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow.
But
anyway, she goes out, she's writing.
There were also a few comments made by Aaron and Kayla that were hinting at maybe that Malik was freeloading because he was a writer.
Yeah.
It's always a fucking writer too.
Yeah.
And nothing has ever, like his work hasn't come money, to, yeah. It's kind of like, in The Shining. Mm-hmm. And his writing hadn't
paid the bills. Teacher was his oasis to making ends meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Malik just had, I guess, whatever Aaron did.
Yeah.
But anyways, he was ghostwriting though. He was actually
it didn't seem
writing
like,
things
it
too.
seemed like they also like had like a pretty okay relationship there. It seemed like he had like, genuinely cared for him one another up until this town happened, and then
definitely
the seeds
then
were planted.
Some tensions came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he made a comment about like did you even ask, like, especially when the alarm system?
Oh, yeah.
He made a few comments. And so I was like, that could definitely lead into.
I feel like that's pretty typical too, though. Sometimes, like, in all, like, relationships, straight or gay or whatever, like, the fight, like, kind of money situation sometimes, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I just, because I have only ever been on the side where I make more than everyone. Mm-hmm. And then so I would never, like, try to make those comments because I knew that it would make them feel bad, but then also like it was my. They were also taking advantage of me.
There's toxicity.
He was not.
Yeah.
Except for now, but, Andrew spoils me.
As he damn
and treats me like a queen.
He's amazing. Shout out to Andrew.
Yeah, we love him. Anyways,
and also, So,
but she's riding her bike.
And
she pans past. You never, ever fall for the guy smoking a cigarette on the hood of his car.
You already know.
I already did.
And that's also very like, I guess
speaking from firsthand experience.
1995. I guess that makes sense. But it also gave me like, since his character apparently I guess has been alive for a long time, like very like old school. Like,
it felt very 50s.
Yeah,
very Grease.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Greaser vibes.
His hair was very like bloop.
Coiffed. No, coiffed. You're right.
Coiffed.
And so she is then Malik's working and he's watching this video of the therapist. I don't know what it is, right? A therapist, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. This is the person I believe that he's ghostwriting for.
Gotcha.
So he's doing a bio thing for them, and conveniently enough, it is a gay conversion. He's saying, he's talking about the quote you can get here is the traditional family unit is everything, which obviously a gay family breaks the traditional family unit because there's not a dad and a mom. Blah, blah, blah.
And there's an emphasis on it because he's like he rewinds it back to kind of listen to it. But yeah, there's irony in that. I never really even caught that or put that together. That was who I was like. I didn't know who he was ghostwriting for. I thought that was just a part of like his like research or whatever he was trying to do.
I believe,
but like, that makes sense.
He did mention to Tiffany at one point when she says, "Oh, I heard you're a writer. What do you write?" And he says, "Oh, I'm doing a biopic. Like I'm a ghostwriter." And so. Or he said I'm ghostwriting right now. So I that's what I think he's doing. That also could not be
I heard the ghostwriting part, but I didn't know that that's who he was ghostwriting for. But it's all him. Yeah.
That was the only way I could make it fit.
I get it. It makes sense. So I'm gonna go with your sense of it. And so yeah, we have him then going for a run, I believe, after that.
And all these bitches got fucking serum problems.
They're all looking at him, and it's kind of like this panning of like different shots of him dissolving in and out.
Yeah.
And so he gets home after this, unfortunately, and then we get a shot of it pans onto the wall, that's right, and it puts on a slur of, you know,
in big bold red letters it says
I don't even like saying it. That's weird. But anyways, it says, you know, a bunch of, you know, twigs bundled up together. We all know the word. What it means. And so anyways, he kudos to him because his face acting is pretty good. You know, we can see like the like how much that hurts and like is like a shock because it's like essentially someone broke into their home,
which is terrifying,
and then like, you know, vandalize their property and wrote, you know, that word on their wall.
Why he didn't communicate this to Aaron,
either.
I will never understand. And then did Kayla come
and left
home?
It and why he cleaned it up before they even got there. Like but yes, no, I'm assuming that he got to painting over it before she even got home. Because
and then he was like multiple coats in.
Yeah. So anywaes, we
because
go to
I mean
the next
a white, like especially I mean you got to get a real good paint.
Of coats.
White. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
because that was a really deep red.
You don't prime that shit, it's gonna bleed right through.
That's true. And so handy Caitlin. And so
my mom's an artist.
He's painting over it. He doesn't communicate to Aaron or Kayla that someone broke into the house and that they wrote the word on the wall. And they then get to talking about how she got a job. She's going to be a new hostess for a restaurant in town. They want to, Aaron's like, you know, this is time to celebrate. And it's kind of then gets
really cute.
Yeah, it gets kind of brushed over because then they kind of have a little dance party situation happening. So yeah. And then I believe at this point, too, we noticed that the old man is outside watching them again at nighttime. And
this is where I was like,
watching him
I feel like maybe the coat guy is good. I couldn't remember.
Oh, yeah.
The old man. I think he's good. Yeah, I called him coat guy.
Coat guy? Oh, yeah, I like that. Coat guy. And so the next day, I can't remember. He's working or he's cleaning. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
he's sitting at his. He
notices that the picture that he put up on the wall earlier of, you know, him and Aaron in drag is missing from the wall.
His little corkboard. Yeah, because it had like his little notes, and then he had that special picture of them. Like, you know, like everyone puts pictures of their family on their desk or their pets, and that was his little desk. I mean, he had his nice little corkboard, and someone stole it.
Yeah. And so which is shocking enough. And so at that point, we get a like shot panning to him being outside. He's at this point has people over installing security cameras and systems into the not cameras. It's just a security system into the house. And he's calling Liam. He's on the phone with this character named Liam. We never see them, but he's in the garage and he's on this really old school like cell phone, like Saved by the Bell cell phone.
Yeah, this motherfucker's a brick.
Yeah,
and it's got the antenna that's like a foot long.
Explaining to him about like how he found that on the wall. Liam's kind of trying to express to him like you're overreacting basically, and
/ did you tell Aaron?
And he didn't, and then he's just kind of like, well, the times are different now, you know, you're kind of basically trying to also brush it under the rug. And before we can get any further with that conversation, Aaron then comes and is like, opening the garage door, and it's like, oh, hi, you know, what are you doing in here? And he was just like, you know, moving some boxes
and
around.
the way that he didn't tell him about the security
And
system being put in either.
Yeah, I feel like that's also something you probably should talk about.
Because the moment that Aaron got as upset as he did, whenever he found out, I would have been like, look, whenever I didn't want to upset you, but somebody broke into our house and wrote the word faggot, on my wall. I was like, we just were like avoiding it so much. But anyways.
I love that. That's what you call me?
Don't ever, no.
I'm just kidding.
Don't ever call anyone that, ever. But that's what these rude, mean people wrote. I was like, we were doing such a good job of avoiding it. And then I was just like, blah, blah.
It's okay.
But anyways, I would have been like, somebody like put that on our wall, and I didn't want to upset you. I'm sorry.
I know, you're fine. Yeah, and yes, he could have told him, and he should have said this. There's a lot of times that he should have mentioned things.
It would have been
that were never mentioned, because when at that point it would have been.
I would have been like, let's add some more locks.
It would have been also windows. Little things that add up to the bigger picture, whereas opposed to at the end, he ends up kind of them coming to him, but it's like he's just kind of coming out of nowhere with all this shit that has been happening. It's like, why wouldn't you have? Yeah, she just seems crazy, basically, and unhinged. And which, knowing that what we find out later on, like, you know, he has a past and all this stuff and the medication, like, it makes sense for Aaron to maybe then see from his perspective, like, this guy is maybe becoming unstable or unraveling. He's seeing things or thinking things that aren't real.
I mean, I feel like it would be like if I
like it's a little douchey, but it's not that far off to think that. Like, I don't necessarily put him completely in the, like, you know,
like I felt like I could 1,000 if I'm not medicated.
I started doubting him for a whole minute. I was like, wait, is he actually seeing these things? Especially when people would be like,
well, and this, because I was like, homeboy is dissociating hardcore, and he
losing track of time, but also homeboy was also being drugged.
Yes, so, he was being drugged, and his like he was given different medications.
Spoiler alert, you guys.
Yeah, which so that can definitely. I mean, no wonder.
Which I was thinking weird. That. So like at a certain point, well, I guess we'll get to it. But anyways, there
because it does get worse the more he takes his medicine as he
and because he feels like he's going crazier and crazier, he's taking more and more of the medicine.
Yeah.
And so the husband comes home. They then go to.
Did you get from the first bit that Liam maybe wasn't real?
I literally thought that from the get-go.
Okay.
I thought this has got to be the boyfriend that was in the flashback, and he's dead.
Yeah. That's what I think. The first time I maybe caught on by the second phone call. I don't think that phone is
real. Because the way that he would leave it in the garage.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
It would never go anywhere else. It was
that's true.
In the garage.
That watching it this time and like actually paying attention, I was like, oh.
Like,
because there's no like
no
hook,
service
no nothing. Yeah.
It was just literally him losing his mind.
Yeah.
Or,
it could have been. He could have been talking to a shoe.
Or coping. Because then later on we get that like Liam's talking to him and he's like, are you sure you're not just calling for like permission, asking for permission like to get over this? Like, but that's the whole thing. And so anyways, they go to the party next door and we get him meeting then the husband of Tiffany.
He looks like a fucking creep.
Which is played by that I forgot. Lochlyn. Yeah.
Loch Ness monster.
And so he then is like explaining how, kind of in a cryptic way, how him and Malik both stay home. They work from home. He does IT from home. It's kind of important because that comes up a little bit later, I guess. And
with
then
the hard drive
about the hard drive, and then that's when they get to talking about Malik and how he's writing the biopic, the ghostwriting, and all that. And then that's when he sees the old man, and the old man is kind of like locked eyes.
Over the bonfire.
Yeah, and then he's there, and then he's gone.
He's a ghost.
Yeah, literally, I thought he was a ghost too for a whole minute. And so then after that, that's whenever he wakes up again in the middle of the night, and he grabs a bat this time, and he's going down the stairs, and that's whenever we see the old man outside the window. And at that point, I'm like, what the fuck is the old man doing out there?
Yeah.
And then the security alarm system goes off. He chases him out. Obviously, this old man is not running that fast. He ends up catching up with him very quickly, like right outside the porch.
Malik goes running.
Yeah.
In full sweats.
Literally. And so he gets him. He's like on top of him, and he's like, why are you in our house? And that's whenever the old man is just essentially saying, like, please take this paper. And he says some other crazy
he
old
hands
man
something
stuff
to him, and he's like, and don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone.
Like,
It's so weird.
Know. And then he just like
gets up and
and
he's like,
I don't know where
are
I left my keys. Yeah.
Literally. I lose track of time nowadays, basically. And so he's playing like
I wonder
the
if he was being
senile
drugged
card.
too.
Could have been. Maybe. But I don't think so. I think he was just playing like ditzy, like old man.
But then they did murder him like immediately after.
because he spoke up. Because we saw whenever he was on the ground that the neighbor looked up from the window, lights turned on and it was the neighbor. But yeah, so we have all that happening, and then it's really weird because then we get back inside the house, and that's whenever we have the argument of like, how much did the security system cost? Aaron
and he's
didn't
like,
know that
in the suburbs, we leave our doors unlocked. And I was like, no, you don't lock your
Caitlin's
doors.
very adamant about locking your doors. Queen of locking doors.
So
and
scary. It's the simplest thing you can do.
We also do get a shot of the paper, and it's literally blank. There's nothing on it. So there's that happening. And so anyways, you take it. I feel like I've been talking too much.
Oh, I wonder when they do switch his medicine, because this is the first scene where we do see him actually taking meds. And so I'm wondering if they switched it at the immediate, like when they came in and, graffitied their house.
Probably. That makes sense, because I don't know. I mean, essentially, it could have happened at any time. It could have happened at any time, but I feel like that would be the most opportune time for them to have done that, because
to get in. It's not like there
was no other time in the movie where it showed us that they would have been able to like get in, because he was there most of the time.
Yeah,
unless he was on his run and they got in.
That's true. Yeah, I imagine they must have had. So even this is the first. Now I feel like stuff starts getting crazy because he. And also, can you even get refunds on security systems?
I don't know, because that's what the husband wanted him to do, but I don't know if you can.
I was like,
maybe
is
you
that
can
even
return
a
it,
real
but
thing?
I don't know if that's you can cancel your service probably.
Yeah. But I feel like
it was thousands of dollars too. So like, and I can imagine, because back then it's not like nowadays the market isn't saturated with like all these like in-home and at-home like security systems. Like that was like a ADT or whatever they're called. Like that's like a big.
You got a yard sign.
Security system, yeah.
A little decal on your front door.
And so, you know what I kept noticing too? I wanted to just mention about Malik is I noticed that he kept whenever we would get the scenes of him working, it would be really like late at night. Everybody else is asleep.
Oh yeah.
And essentially I kept thinking, because we found out that he was being drugged and maybe he was losing track of time, that he was getting drugged so much that he would be sleeping like all throughout the morning, the night, like the morning daytime, because then we would get these like moments of him waking up, kind of looking over to see if his husband's there next to him, and he's already gone.
Yeah, long gone.
So I'm thinking like this homeboy's waking up like 2 p.m. already, like, and so I'm thinking like, because there is that point where we get the of him with the old boy.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm thinking like, and if
he could have gone out.
I looked at those pictures, like I kind of paused it, and he looks just completely knocked out. And
yeah.
Like, they could have like just.
He did not look coherent in those at all. He looked drugged to high heaven.
He was drugged, and they got in and like took those pictures of them while Aaron was working, because Aaron has been working a lot this whole time. Yeah.
Because he's got to pay for their new life.
But yeah, there's a whole lot going on.
There is.
And so
this is where it happens though, and we've got
him taking the medicine.
Yeah, he takes the meds, and then as he's taking the medicine, I believe, is when he looks across the way, and because basically you can just see into the neighbor's fucking house. And I put, what is this, some fucking life group or something?
That's what I said. That's hilarious.
And they're just sitting there like all joined hands.
Look like a Bible study.
They're just like kumbaya and my Lord around in a circle.
But in a weird dance.
Yeah, swaying.
And then we have the son kind of looking out the window, and it looks like he's almost about to bang his head.
I thought it was
window.
Matthew.
I thought it was the son, but it could have been Matthew. They look similar because it was dark-ish.
Yeah, because he was so tall and like extra skinny. And I figured since they were killing his grandpa, they didn't want to look. But was it his actual grandpa?
Who knows? Because I don't remember there being like a little boy in the old pictures.
Yeah, it was always the two women and their daughter.
It might not have been.
Yeah. They were probably just probably giving
pretending
that story to call him. Yeah.
And so then we have Tim witnessing that. We have,
but he fucking takes a photo with a goddamn camera flash, and I was like,
why are you doing this?
You couldn't have thought of anything better.
And he also turned off the light in his house, which I felt like makes it
more suspicious.
Yeah.
Also, if you were going to photograph anything, you should have photographed the word on your wall instead of that, I mean, that's clear, hardcore evidence. Anyone could look at that and just be like, okay, well, they're just fucking weird, holding hands like the bunch of hippies. Who knows?
Probably. And so, that was a whole scene. I thought that was a bit like kind of dumb on his part because they obviously see the flash and then they like close the curtains so that way nobody can see what they're doing in there.
Which is suspicious.
Very suspicious.
Also, why would you not close your curtains if you're going to sacrifice a human anyways? You go into the basement for that.
Probably.
I watched the Black Phone.
Did they have those? Oh, you did? Did you like it?
Speaking of basements.
Did you like it?
It was good.
Yeah?
It actually had 2 scares that got me pretty good. Like that. I mean, I jumped, but I think it was due to the like how insanely loud it was in the theater.
Yeah.
But it was good. I mean, I'd watch it again, I think.
All right. I'll have to watch it and then we'll cover it.
Yeah.
All right. And so after he sees this whole thing, he takes the pictures.
Not in the theater.
To streaming so people can watch it.
So we can actually type our notes too.
And watch it.
Because watching and doing Scream 5 over that was so hard.
That was a time.
Yeah.
With my half notes.
I had none.
Literally had like just like the first 15 minutes. And so after this, the next day we find out that the old man from across the street has died.
You see a body being loaded into an ambulance.
Exactly. The grandson is alone, like outside the quote unquote grandson is crying. And then we have the neighbors come up, and that's when they're like saying, they came over the night before because the grandson called them over and the old man was like sick and everybody was saying goodbyes or whatever. It's very sad.
And it ended up turning into a bit of a celebration.
Yeah.
And I was like,
which is weird. Who says that? You don't say that.
Some people say, join us for a celebration of life instead of funeral.
I mean, I feel that, but that's not the way he's. Like,
you don't celebrate around the person as they're dying.
Yeah,
that's fucking weird. You also, I mean, no one actually celebrates at a celebration of life. Everyone's fucking sad, and then you're just like,
people are still mourning. Yeah, that's just what you call it, so it's
you
not as grim.
Start like swaying and dancing.
And so,
I don't know. Maybe you do.
Maybe.
I don't.
I don't know. After this, we have Malik breaking into that old man's house because he's like trying to figure out what the heck like the scoop is because he obviously doesn't buy any of that. And
I was like,
also,
boy, you did not just break into their house. Come on.
And also, he's not careful at all.
Yeah.
And he's this whole movie, but anyways,
drops a photo. Rookie mistake.
Drops the photo. The glass breaks. That's whenever Matthew then comes in and then notices it after he hears him coming in. So yeah, it's a whole kind of like he almost gets caught, but he doesn't moment.
Yeah. And we see that in the photo, it's 2 women with their daughter. And so you can kind of infer there that his daughters were lesbians. And that, well, as we later find out, the same thing happened to them. That is about to happen to them.
To this couple. And so at the after this, we have Tyler picking up Kayla, right? And they go for a ride.
And this is the words he says here. She was like, do you ever want to like get away from here? And he was like, why would I want to? Everything's here. Friends, family, you. And I was like,
cringe.
That's so gross.
And creepy.
And this is where she mentioned she had a boyfriend though.
Yeah, because he's touching her hand and they're sitting on the hood of the car, right? And that's whenever
he touched her hand when she's
like, I got a boyfriend. I think or something like that. And then he's like, well, you should figure that out. And that's whenever he looks, which also kind of threw me off because I'm like, is he just trying to make himself look innocent? I don't know. But he says, do you see that? And there's like a man in like a potato sack like mask, whatever.
Was it a potato sack?
I don't know. It was something.
I thought it was a head. I couldn't see. Like, I mean, I thought
there
it was
just
a
sack over his head. There was something over his head. And he was just standing there menacingly.
Do you think it was a grandpa? He got up.
I don't know.
He didn't die.
No, I don't think so.
Broke out.
It was just probably someone else. But I don't understand this part of the movie because to me it doesn't really make sense on why.
Maybe it's the ghost of the grandpa coming back to warn them.
Maybe. You know what?
He's coming for Ty's soul because he probably ate.
That's
the old
probably
grandpa
true
blood.
Because I don't understand why. Otherwise, he would have been like, "Let's get out of here." I mean, because he's in on the whole thing. Like,
or if it's just a ghost from like one of the many centuries past, and maybe Ty's haunted by them because he's the one who consumed all their blood.
Or they're trying to warn Kayla at that point, and so that's why he's like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Because at no other point have they tried to scare or do anything to Aaron or Kayla. They're targeting Malik. They're breaking him essentially as their way to get into this family. And so they
This is where we flash to the high risk and
that's right,
legitimate conversation happening at the
neighbor's house. Because they're having like
Lochlyn.
a little dinner, drinks, whatever, and it's a little weird because they're being overly accepting and like went down the wrong pipe. They're being like overly nice and overly accepting and like trying to be like, anybody, it's all about love, even if you kind of they don't
anyone
even say
who
it
doesn't believe that
are they're jerks or
assholes.
assholes. And then it's the way that she's like, if you're a man or woman, or if you're, and looks at them but like doesn't say just gay. So there's a lot of like subtle tension in the room, and Malik obviously isn't really buying any of it.
He's like
he doesn't find it to be true. And so then Tyler comes back. She's like, oh, did you have a good day or something? And he's like, oh, it was good, Mom. And kind of like typical trying to act. I feel like he's trying to act like a teenager.
The way she phrased whatever question it was that she asked him,
it seemed pointed.
Yeah, it was kind of like
a task.
How did you get
close to her or something?
What did you get accomplished today, kind of thing? And he was like, yeah, like I did well, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I got as well.
It was creepy.
She was like, I was hanging out with that friend of yours or something like that. It was very cryptic and pointed.
And I don't know if I remembered that Tyler was their son at this point or not.
Yeah. It was because that's
no, I know, but I didn't know if it had been said yet. And so at this point, like in my notes, at least I was like, okay, yeah, Tyler is their son. I was like, that's what I thought I remembered, but I didn't remember if like I just brushed over it somewhere else.
And now a word from our sponsors.
RogueCon 23. That's right, it is here. It's not back, it's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
And Malik, he now is like, yo, I gotta pee. So, except for he said it much more nicer than
that's whenever he's like asking for directions to the bathroom, and the dude is like second door to the left or something like that. But then we have Malik then finding another room, and which had French doors that you could clearly see through. That's why he went in there.
Yeah, a little office.
But he goes in and he sees all these pictures of like these old white people, old timey photos. They're very old.
And he's originally hones in on the spiral on the edge of the spine of that book.
Yeah,
he looks there first and then notices the white.
That's
people.
True. Yeah, he's looking at the book, then notices that spiral book. And then that's whenever what is the name? What is his name? The neighbor's name? Tiffany's husband. I just know his actor's
Marshall.
name. Marshall comes in, and that's whenever he's like, "Oh, I see." He's like, "You found someone." He said something.
Yeah, he said a name. He was like, "It's an ancestor."
It's like supposed to be exactly.
And then, like someone my great uncle or grandfather or something
or another. And so we have that interaction, and
he's like, oh, the family genes run strong, because that motherfucker, he says, is from 1792,
and he looks just like the
grandson.
Looks
fucking identical to Tyler. Yeah.
And so that's whenever
there's some blood ritual sacrifice shit happening here for sure.
There is, and there's obviously tension in the room right now, because then Malik is like, oh, I thought you could have said, it's the
It's like, I
third
couldn't
door.
remember if it was second or third. And he was like, I definitely said second. And then he says, let me point you in the right direction.
And
I
so
was
they
like,
get out of the room, and then it's pretty awkward.
because that also made it seem like straighten you back out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then the next night or whatever, that night, we have Malik working again at the desk, and that's whenever we have these car lights coming up behind him.
Oh yeah, and the thing that here is saying lead them back to a wholesome existence.
Mm-hmm.
The video, that
the video
biopic
too.
that he's playing too. So it felt very like a good
Targeted.
transition
Mm-hmm.
from the let me point you back in the right direction to
It's true.
lead them back.
And
But yeah, not the headlights.
it's at this point giving very bad dream, which essentially it turns out to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I thought it was a trauma response at first.
Same.
I thought because their house has so many fucking weird windows
yeah.
that I was like, totally, headlights can shine in.
Who's to know that they probably didn't even probably look him up, probably find out maybe information about him. They had to know.
They were
triggering him.
Yeah.
In certain ways.
Playing on that.
Exactly.
Preying on that.
Yeah. And so after that,
this is where we get that whole dream sequence,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
very traumatic thing happening. But then we wake up and Kayla is doing some little exercises.
that's right.
And then she's
Not even following the video. She's
No.
doing her own thing.
She's just bending. She's very flexible.
Very 90s aerobics. And she's looking at the window, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees the neighbor Tyler with another girl.
Yup. He's got another girlfriend.
And he just very purposefully looks at her window.
Mhm.
And
Like,
she
"You
looks at
watching,
him
bitch?"
to close the blinds very fast. And then the girl, I guess, whatever he's with, she's like, come on, let's go smoke a bowl.
Mhm.
And because I guess that's apparently earlier, I guess we brushed past it too. He was smoking a joint with her in her room or his room, someone's room, and they were playing the video games. And he's like, and she's like, is this what you do in this town? He was like, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But anyways, then after that, we have the grandson, Matthew, comes by, quote unquote grandson again.
Yeah.
He comes by, and that's whenever he's talking to Malik, and he says that he needs, to
Just
talk
did my
to
grandpa
him.
give you anything?
Yeah, he's asking him very cryptic questions on the couch, and then then at some point, this is the first time we get someone like Malik. Whenever he's talking to people, they kind of at some certain points what do you call it?
Jump,
blink.
Mhm.
They're at one spot, and then you get a flash, and they're in another spot, and he's all
Mhm.
freaked out because they're not where
He's
they
like,
just were.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and so then we have Matthew kind of freaking out at him, breaking down, and then he's essentially
Groping him.
groping him and about to kiss his neck, saying I miss him so much.
And I
And
was like, ew.
it was really weird. And then we have, of course, Aaron, the husband, walks in at this moment.
Well, I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
That's making Malik look real bad.
And it did. And so that's whenever after that too,
planting little seeds.
planting
everywhere.
seeds. Yeah. And we get, because then he leaves immediately after that. And then we have the husband then talking to Malik after being like, oh, well, it seems you really liked him, and we get a whole little banter between them talking about them
Been a while
possibly
since we've had.
inviting him into the bedroom, and
Could be a
then
little
that's
fun.
whenever Malik is like, no, I just want it to be us. They kind of start kissing, lights are off, but then we get a scream,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Kayla, and she's screaming ridiculously loud, and blood curdling screams. They run over, and this is whenever we get them opening up the door to her bedroom, and she's got blood
She's
just
covered in
all
blood.
over her face.
Well, I don't understand why she didn't get out of bed.
I
would have been freaking if I was covered in an unknown substance and I
Mhm.
didn't feel any physical pain.
essentially that's saying to me that she had been dripping for a while, and she just was that knocked out that she didn't feel it. Because
Or it could have been if the
all
blood
at once.
Yeah, I'm imagining it pulled so much
and
that
then
it
just
finally went.
Yeah, that had to be what it was.
Never mind.
And
I
she
was like, when you got a blood clot. on
yeah,
your period.
and it just all rushed out, and probably that's what happened. And because she was asleep, you don't know what happened. She's just and then there's blood all over you. And it was dark, but anyways, yeah, there was so much, and it was a lot of blood.
It was. I mean, her head was her hair was matted to her
Yeah.
head because it was so covered in this.
Disgusting too, because they go upstairs
you
and we
must
find
have
out
reeked.
from the attic that it is raccoons, right? There were dead raccoons
Yeah.
up there. Yeah. Not just one, it was 3 or 4. They're just right above her bedroom.
And so the dead of the blood animals basically pulled through and fell through. And I'm just, whenever he says they probably just ate some poison, I was like, those motherfuckers look like torn to shreds.
Yeah, no, they were
unless
like
that poison made them explode.
They were gutted.
There's no way that. Yeah, I was like,
And
why
that
are
was
you
a
even
lot of
trying
blood.
to reason? Yeah,
It was a lot of blood.
It was a lot of fresh blood. It was still red.
Like someone was in their attic and just like, and then just skipped out right before they saw. Like it had to all had just happened. But yeah, it's a lot. It's crazy. I'm like, I would freak out. That's whenever they're in the like hallway and the husband, of course, is rationalizing
It's like
it.
gaslighting them.
It's like, you know, they've probably died up there. They were probably, you know, living there before they moved in. And then they just, but also too, like if that would have happened, their blood wouldn't just like, that was fresh, like you said. It wouldn't just pull out like that. And so after that, we have the Kayla, she's showering. She's trying to wash all the blood off.
I don't think I could take enough showers
to
feel clean after that.
And we get that little nice shot of the blood going down the spiral of the drain. And then it transitions into,
then we get the spiraling image of Matthew,
which is kind of weird because at that point it's kind of like,
is he controlling this? Is he the mastermind?
Because there wasn't really any reason for him to be there. But anyways, that's whenever after that, I think Malik is doing more.
He's doing more work, and
research,
this is where we get the guy is talking, and he's like actually now looking into the clinic, I guess that of the video he's like listening to, and so he typed in the Ernie Darrelson clinic because I think he finally heard enough sentences or phrases that made him be like, "What the fuck?"
Maybe I should look this up.
We find out that it's a conversion therapy place, which is just the whole idea is I don't understand why people think that's insane. A real thing, and it
doesn't work.
Sick if because it's not like you can just wash the gay out of your brain.
And so
everyone's a little bit gay, y'all. Come on,
it's a spectrum.
Even if you think you're straight, everyone's made out with someone of the same sex.
It's a spectrum,
or gender neutral,
or just have had thoughts, or you know, it's like I said, a spectrum.
It's 17%. Everyone's a little bit gay. At least 17%.
A lot of that, and so we have then people in the hoods watching outside again. People are watching them again, and at this point, it's like not just it's like 2 or 3, I believe, in hoods, and they're watching from the outside.
And Malik didn't see this, right?
No, he does not. No, they're just watching. We see it, and we get a shower scene, and that's whenever we see him talking to Aaron in the shower, kind of talking about how, the book, he can't finish it because like his hard drive burned out. He didn't back it up, but then Kayla's knocking on the door, and she's like, "Hey, you've been in there for an hour. I need hot water." And
he's in there alone.
So either it did or did not, or he lost track of time.
Yeah, and then he was already out.
It was already out. I don't know what happened, but somehow, we're getting a little confused. We all are. Me as a viewer, and so is Malik. And so that's whenever he gets an idea, and that's when because of the fog on the window, right, or something. I don't know how it strikes to him, but he ends up putting water on that piece of paper.
What in the national treasures?
Yeah, literally. And also it doesn't make sense.
Where's the lemon?
Yeah,
there was water.
It was literally just water. He puts water on it, and then we see all these numbers pop up, and that's whenever we get to figuring out that they're apparently like newspaper articles that he has to go look up in the library.
Gave me very Ring vibes.
Yeah, it did. Very Ring vibes. And then after that, we have him kind of getting more information on the murder-suicide that happened of the old man's daughters. Daughter and daughter-in-law.
Basically 10 years
10 years
ago.
prior. Yeah. And that's whenever he is trying to explain to the husband.
And there's a series of dates that go all the way back that maybe weren't necessarily always gay couples.
But it was people
who were...
Same kind of story every 10 years. Something happens. Some trauma. And so he's trying to explain to the husband, and this husband is once again kind of dismissing everything. He's like, if you would actually get to know,
they were
the neighbors, they told me about this already, and kind of
apparently they had told them about it too, I think.
And he wasn't listening.
He just wasn't listening.
And so he is talking to Liam again, and that's whenever he's in the garage, and he's looking at the ceiling of the garage, and he pulls the and the garage door starts pulling down, and he sees that there's a spiral drawn on the ceiling of the garage.
Oh, this was my other thing. I was like, is the spiral supposed to be like, is it their spiral, like them spiraling into madness that making them think that? Or is it supposed to be like borderline, like, I wonder if hypnosis at any point comes in And then I was like, maybe this could be like Get Out. But I don't know.
I can see the parallels, but I wasn't getting like hypnosis or anything at that point.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it was. I was just like,
I do kind of see like how it could be the spiral of like them losing their minds, basically, essentially. But
I guess it's just their mark.
Yeah,
like the mark of the beast.
And like it could actually have the tie-in with whatever ritual is going on that they're performing as well. That they have to mark that area. The blood had to fall. They had to put some type of blood on the girl. Like all of these things are in place to like.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that specifically, like why it was placed.
Because
I
remember, when he finds the
thing.
book, the plant is in it, so it's like all these things happen for a reason in place. And so we have then after that.
And this is also where he had asked Liam. This is where Liam said that comment of, "Are you just looking for permission
to move on?"
Yeah.
And so that's whenever, even more so, you get the feeling of like, okay, this has got to be the guy who died in the flashbacks.
Yeah. But then now Malik he's going out for another little run. Oh wait, no. He went for a run past the house, and then he went back home, goes to sleep, and now he's driving to go investigate at the house of the last murder.
Yeah, and that's whenever he goes inside and he sees a ghost lady, I guess.
Yeah,
essentially.
He first notices the same spiral on their ceiling, like at the base of the ceiling fan, where the ceiling fan connects to the ceiling. He sees the spiral there. And then he goes upstairs and he sees something in the ceiling tile.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
It's the tapes.
Oh.
It's the tapes up there. And I'm like, I wish he would have just grabbed them from there instead of hearing the noises coming from downstairs. Because then he's led back downstairs because he hears someone there.
Yeah.
And he looks in the corner and it's a fucking dumbass ghost.
Yeah, it kind of had really no connection. Like she just kind of pops up. I mean, she is obviously one of the daughters, but it didn't have to really happen.
Yeah.
Because then also too, it just adds to more like, I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. Because are all these people dead, maybe ghosts, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because
is it
like
just
Satan,
the one
like,
neighbor's family that's alive? Like, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, like are multiple kids like feeding off of these people, or is it just Tyler?
Who eats? Yeah. Because it was like a ritual, it seemed like at the end, and
then clearly the parents have been around
for forever as well. So we have them.
Maybe they eat the dads, and that they stay at that age by eating the middle-aged people.
There's a lot of theories here that can happen. That can all be true or not.
Then this ghost is holding the fucking tapes in her hands.
She's
and
holding
just like
the tapes.
charges him,
and then they have to bit in his hands. And then we get him going back to the house. We then see that his computer is like taken apart. He sees Aaron outside. He goes to Aaron, and Aaron is then like got these Polaroids in his hands. And at this point, I already know some bullshit's about to happen.
And like at one of their family dinners prior, Kayla had been like, "Hey, have you seen my missing Polaroids?"
Yeah,
because I had a bunch of blanks and
she can't find them.
Yeah.
And then also we did get a cut of him checking his chest area at one point, and there was like a bruise there, and he was like not really. Yeah, he was like, "What is this?"
It's from that bondage.
And so we then get Polaroids of him and Matthew together, like, you know, doing naughty time in bondage.
But yeah, he does
on the photos,
look
and it looks very incriminating. Yeah. And he also looks out of it. He looks roofied.
That like, because there's one where like Matthew's trying to like kiss him, and yeah, it looked like he could have been dead.
Yeah. And so, but obviously Aaron is like, "Look, if you wanted to do this, I would have let you, but you didn't. You didn't tell me. I want you out of the house before I get back." And
like, where am I gonna
Malik's
go?
like, "I don't." Yeah, and then it's like drama, and then we have Malik inside. He's bawling, he's crying, kind of freaking out, and then that's whenever he starts playing the tapes, because he's like, then it's just like, "Oh yeah, the tapes," and so then he's right. Doesn't he start playing them at that point?
Does he? I know that he then goes to pick up Kayla because something happened.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
and then
she ends up. Yeah, he gets called by the police, and he has to go pick her up, and that's whenever we get the whole remarks of her fighting, what was the girl's name, Stephanie or something? Elizabeth, I don't know.
She had it coming. I guess it was the other girlfriend of Tyler.
I
think is what happened.
But because she said that that Kayla was gonna get AIDS from you know her dad's.
Exactly. And then this is where he basically, which was
down.
such a sad. I mean, yeah, he's breaking down. He was like, different scares people, and he said, in this town and in this country, it is not safe for people to stand out. And he says, forget everything I said about living loud and proud. And he said, do not draw attention to yourself. Don't speak out. Don't speak up. It's not safe. And the way that's still fucking true today.
Oh yeah.
I mean, maybe not to that full extent of.
Well,
but I mean, it is like people have a safe space where they can open up like that, but you still have to worry about being persecuted and assaulted by people on the street. Everywhere.
And it's definitely, there are certain areas where you can be more out and proud as opposed to where there are places you can't.
Rural fucking America, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And other places in the world. I know it's not just America that has hate, but we just have a fucking lot of it.
It's everywhere. It's kind of a world pandemic, hate is. And so we have then, what happens after that? I get lost in my notes all the time.
Oh, I don't know. I just I said all that, and then it says, "You right, Tyler is a creep." And then she was saying like, yeah, like Malik said Tyler's a creep. He was like, Tyler's a creep, and she was like, yeah, I'm done with him. I'm done.
Whenever he's advising her that she should stay away from him, and that's whenever she's like, okay, I'm done. And then promise. Literally the next shot is them making out on the bed, and she's telling him that she's never gone all the way, and that's whenever he's saying, you know what, let's wait. I want it to be special. Bullshit. I put,
girl, he isn't even cute. And something about his lips was creepy too. That's what it.
You keep having a problem with his lips.
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the way they move.
And so then we get a shot of Malik, and essentially he's living in his car a little bit right now at the moment, kind of going over
the speech that's happening in the background is a real life speech. It was made, because I was listening to it and I was like, I feel like this is real. And now it happened in 1992, so maybe it was a replaying of it, but basically it was Patrick Joseph Buchanan, and it was a cultural war speech addressed to the Republican National Convention, and he was basically saying like, first thing I want to do tonight is to congratulate President George Bush and to remove any doubt, blah blah blah, as to where I stand. And basically he's like saying like, in Clinton's America, this and this could happen, but basically the change and everything, like homosexuality and things like that, like we don't want that change. That is change. And he says, but this America doesn't want it, is what it says. And
a lot of just homophobia.
Yes, a lot. Yeah, he says it's not the kind of change America wants, and it's not the kind of change that we can abide in as a nation and still call God's country.
Well, he's probably dead to this day. On this date.
Maybe. Yeah. But so that was, I did think that it was interesting that they put actual speeches that were happening at that time. Again, a few years removed. If you were to actually look it up.
I mean, if it already happened, it could be in that research or all the videos that he was looking up and stuff for the biopic piece that he was writing.
True.
But yeah, it's, pretty at that point. He then, I guess he was across
drawing the spiral on the window too,
and he was across the street from the neighbors at that point because he sees the neighbors just looking out the window, Mr. Marshall, right?
Yeah,
he sees him, and then we get a cut to him then getting the idea. He goes over to the neighbor's house, and then he's talking to Marshall, and they're talking about the hard drive, and he's like, I got your hard drive, but it wasn't fried, but I did make a copy of it. And that's whenever Marshall's kind of essentially threatening, blackmailing.
He's like, I saw that file.
Yeah, I saw that file, and we never get a mention of what it is, but he's like, I'm not going to tell you about it, but you should get some help because you have a problem, essentially. And so then obviously Malik's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And at that point he's in front of the bookshelf again, and he takes the spiral book that we saw earlier. And so he drives to a motel, and that's whenever he's at a motel and he starts taking his meds, he loads a gun, and he's looking into the spiral book and all the shit that's, he sees the plant, he starts reading about what like all is happening to them. And then he, I guess, essentially sees like what is like a demon or the devil outside the window.
Yeah.
And he's like about to shoot, and he's losing his mind. And I'm like, oh, please don't do it, because then we see that it's like a lady who's just looking for her keys.
Yeah, it was you saw the silhouette of what was clearly outside a woman after the case, but like during it, we saw what he saw, and it definitely looked like a demonic, Satan figure, a horned kind of person. And then everything like in the whole the whole motel's askew. Like the pictures on the walls are
very
like
a
off
fever
kilter.
dream.
Yeah. It looks like he's been like going through and just like ripping shit off the walls, like losing his mind, which he was.
He essentially is. And then we also get a shot of him going for his medicine again, but then he realizes and he's looking at his medicine. Oh, no, he's on the phone. He's calling Aaron at this point. He's trying to tell Aaron about, I don't know if it's real or not, but he's telling Aaron on the phone, like, reading him the book and what's happening. And then that's whenever he goes to take more medicine. And that's when he realizes.
See, I thought he tried to call
Liam,
but I didn't know because it didn't go through.
It was at first there was Aaron on the other line. I heard his voice was like talking back to him, like, you need to. He was basically calling them crazy, and then that's whenever he goes to the meds, and then he notices that they were switched, and then he goes back to the phone, and then it's like the phone has been disconnected.
Before that, homegirl charges at him. Same ghost girl charges at him.
Yeah,
and she's just in the room there, and I was like, boy, she just wants you to watch the fucking movie she put in your hand. Yeah. She had some good recommendations. You need to watch them.
Yeah.
But then that's when he goes and he finds also the missing photo inside the spiral book of him and Aaron, and their eyes are all like scratched out and stuff.
And that's whenever he actually he's playing. The videos are playing in the background, and that's when he sees like the video of the girl in the video, which was like, I guess, the lady's daughter in the old, the old family of the old man, his granddaughter, I guess, essentially. I'm not sure, but he puts it together, and he's like thinking like, oh shit. He says Kayla out loud. So that's what, when he puts it together, like that they're not essentially after him and Aaron, but they're after Kayla, right? Because that's how I put it. Pieced it together.
I think at this point, I think he actually, I have that later. So I put at this point, I think he goes back after the disassociating, and he's like, this is where all the like weirdos were in his house, he says. And then this is, he actually goes back to the house before, I think because then my notes on the plant and everything are back there later.
Well, no, he sees that first. He sees that in the hotel. He sees the girl on the phone, and she's playing the recorder, and she's like, "Mom, whatever."
That was in the hotel.
Yeah, and that's what drives him to then go back to the house, because that's when he ends up at the party.
Yeah. Okay. And so then he gets there, and all these weirdos are in the house. They're just laughing at him, like whenever he first walks in.
But I don't think they were. I think he was just losing his mind.
I think he was.
Yeah, but they are. Yeah,
but they also could have been,
because they are a part of whatever is going on. And
because Aaron, no one was in that room, so as long as Aaron or Kayla's not in that room, it doesn't really matter. You see them acting like that, and they have to know that he's tripping at this point. I mean, clearly he looked unhinged. So
he goes in, and then he sees Tiffany, and that's whenever he's like, where's Kayla? And she's like, she's fine. This is all for her anyways. And that's whenever I was like, oh shit, this is a birthday party. And then he sees Aaron, and then Aaron's like, where have you been? And he's like, you kicked me out. And he's like, that was a week ago. So that's how we know as well that
which is like, also, but you kicked him out, sir.
Yeah. And so what do you mean, where have you been? And so everything that we've seen though has transpired within a week. So like, who knows to say how many days he's just been losing his mind.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we know it's been a week, but I mean, like, you get what I mean.
It seemed very fast.
Yeah, but it's been a whole
It seemed
week.
like one evening.
And then he sees freaking Marshall, and that's whenever he's like, I'm gonna protect her from you, or I'm gonna protect her. And that's whenever Marshall's from who, and he's like, you, and he shoots him. Yeah, point blank. And everybody's freaking out. Tiffany's freaking out. Kayla's freaking out. Tyler
I don't understand why no one like questioned when he still lived. He was shot in a pretty.
Oh yeah.
It seems like he was dead for sure.
Yeah.
And then he was just walking around willy nilly.
Well, I don't think. Well, everybody who would have known, like, they already know that he's not dead because they are in on it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So the only person who wouldn't have known was Aaron, and he was at the house with Kayla.
True.
So
yeah, I guess he didn't show up to the.
He just went to show up to Malik, and so and so that's where basically Malik gets taken away. He gets put in a prison or a jail cell. We then get Aaron and Kayla kind of like freaking out about what had happened, and then we get a shot of Aaron coming to visit Malik in the jail cell, and he's basically saying that he's putting the house up for sale. Him and Kayla are going to move away. That's when Malika's like,
not the town we're running from.
Yeah, because Malika's like, get away from here, run away from here. And he's like, we're not running from the town, we're running from you.
Yeah.
And that's whenever he's like, bringing up Liam. And that's whenever Aaron is like, Liam. And that's whenever it doesn't get mentioned, but he's like, I can't, because he's telling, Malika's telling him, ask Liam. And he's like, I can't do that. Yeah. And that's when essentially I'm getting, he can't do that.
Because he was like, who's
dead.
Liam? And he was like, my ex-boyfriend, duh. Basically. And then he was like, yeah, I can't do that. And then just walks off.
Yeah. And so that's whenever he leaves, we see back at the house that the flower has bloomed. And then we get a shot of then Aaron finding a tape, and then he's looking at it and we see that it's
okay. See, this is what I was thinking of. So Aaron found the tape here. Yeah. Because I was like, this is where I have that Tyler this is where they see the same little of Tyler showing up.
Gotcha. Yeah. So this is a different spot whenever I was talking earlier. You're right. Yeah. And so he sees the tape underneath the desk, right? And so that's whenever he plays it and he sees that it's fucking Tyler. And he's like, oh shit, that's
canoodling with the last daughter.
And at the same time that this is happening, we have Marshall at the jail cell, and he's kind of basically revealing the entire evil plan, which is basically not necessarily just gay couples, but any couple or any type of people who are like disenfranchised or like who society doesn't fears or doesn't like pay attention to. They use them and kill them in order to keep themselves young, useful, alive, whatever they're doing. And so we then have Aaron then back at the house, and he's trying to break into Kayla's room because it's locked, and he's trying to get in there, and he gets in there, and what does he see?
Oh yeah. And yeah, sorry.
No,
my notes are
what I missed.
No, you didn't. It's just, the way that he basically tells them like exactly how they're going to frame him for murder. That he breaks out of jail, relapsed, and then killed your family, and then killed yourself. And then, so then the dad breaks in. I was just confused. He breaks in and he sees that Tyler is eating all of her guts out. She's completely her middle is just gone.
She's gone.
It looks like a bazooka blew through her. And then he's just sitting there like, what's up? Like, I'm eating your daughter's intestines. Literally. He literally is like, you want something? Like, it's the way he looked whenever he opened the door. And it's just like, LOL. But yeah. And then this is where someone says like, people won't care. He says, because of who you are, and they won't question it. There will always be someone to fear, and they just exploit that. And then, then we get November 7th, 2005 rolling in, and 10 years later.
It cuts away, fades to black, opens up, it's 2005, and we get a new family moving into town. And it's funny because I'm thinking like, also just like, is it just the family that comes every 10 years, or just like literally this house on the market for 10 years? Like,
yeah, I'm wondering if they like leave it in ways and like booby trap it or something, I guess. And then they put the house up for sale, or because it doesn't even have to happen in the house. So
yeah,
the other couple happened in another house. So I guess they just every 10 years somehow encourage a disenfranchised or just someone who.
That's true though, because in the other ones it happened in another house, but in order for this one, and because we find out that Malik got ahead of them.
Same house.
Yeah, Malik got ahead of them and like made a whole disc, DVD, whatever set you want to call it back then, of like warning the new family,
and which
it's in
the
the
old
attic.
Family did too. It was in the attic there as well. I mean, that's what the tapes were.
Essentially, you're right.
Yeah, and so this is just a more compact version of it, and but yeah, so I guess it doesn't. But he had to go find it at the other house. So I mean, yeah, what are the odds?
They got lazy.
The person moving in,
to the same house
would be into the same house. Yeah, exactly.
You're right.
Unless they are controlling the house, but then that one it makes sense with the last house. So yeah, plot hole. But this time it's not a gay family. We have people of color.
Yeah,
and so basically, they're just going to exploit it. And this was in 2005, and it looked like an Indian family, and people are dumb, and so he had like a head wrap on, and so after 2005, it was 2000.
It's close to 9/11. People
are still being super racist.
Yeah,
about
to this day.
Yes, to this day. Yeah, I felt like it was like insanely bad.
Probably. Yeah.
Around this time, and so I felt like maybe that was why they chose
to do that.
That they did. And but yeah, and then basically we just get Malik talking over the ending of the film. We kind of see him making everything, making
just
a
warning
little
the new
tape.
family about what's going on in this town.
I'm making this for you so you can have a chance, he says. And my hope is that you might be the one to finally break the cycle.
And then we get a shot of the CD like being
in the little 80s dance
disc,
hit.
upstairs in the attic of the house.
And he says, just remember, hope is never silent, is like the last words. And I mean, yeah. And then everyone's, dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can assume that they're all dead.
They all died. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's
always
why
love
it's
a good
kind of a
film
little
where people all die.
and there's not really like a necessarily a happy ending because it's essentially going to happen again. So hopefully this new family can make it out before something bad happens.
Because she looks up like immediately. What prompts her to go up there?
No.
Oh no, yeah. She just looks up and sees the one lone
I see an attic, I go up.
Like why would no one look though? Like everything's empty. That CD's kind of in like plain sight.
Maybe his spirit
put it there.
kind of like
that's true. I mean, there were other ghosts.
Yeah, or guiding her.
There were ghosts guiding.
A feeling, something.
Yeah. Was there a bump? I felt like maybe there was a bump. I don't know. Anyways, we can't think too hard about it. Otherwise, it'll be.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories because it can go a lot of way, but that's good with film because it's up to your interpretation. So it's whatever you'd like to think.
That's true. I don't know what I think.
And in your honest BooBaes rating, are you ready?
Yes,
opinion?
you have to
Let's
go
see.
first though. I was like, not me.
I know. Let's see. I will definitely give it like a 2.5.
2.5?
2.5, yeah.
Why is that?
Kind of middle of the road. It was I'm not gonna say like it blew me away or anything, but it wasn't like a bad movie. I've definitely seen some like recently bad movies, and like this, that's why I can say like it wasn't horrible. It was kind of a different take on a story. I've kind of glad to see that there's like a gay couple in the front of this horror film. But yeah, there was a couple moments where I was like, this is kind of more suspenseful, not necessarily scary.
Yeah.
But overall,
I think it's definitely a thriller.
Thriller, yeah. It was good though. It wasn't bad. I like it. Wasn't something that I would probably watch like 500 times, but I saw it and it's digestible. It's literally like an hour and a half or less, a little bit less than that. So yeah. But yeah, a 2.5 I'd say.
I feel like I need to go back and I mean there are
I
other
did
movies,
watch it 2 times.
Yeah. That I liked less that I gave like
a higher rating.
2.5s. Yeah. And I'm like, so I don't know. I was
you
thinking
definitely
3
don't
in
have
my
to.
head.
Don't even. I mean, my rating is my rating. Your
No,
rating is your
I know. Yeah, but I was thinking 3 because I didn't dislike it. Talking through it, there are a lot more plot holes and stuff than I think.
I think it all just comes down to like budget and just like what they were able to do with what they had. I mean, it's still a pretty fleshed out, good concept. It didn't really lose itself too much.
They do try to spell things out for you pretty. I do prefer things a lot of the times, films that are a little more cryptic, I think.
It was more on the nose.
Yeah.
With everything.
And so this is very much like, here you go. Here are the things you need. But then also there's still plot holes, so that's confusing. But overall, like I said, I watched it before and I liked it enough that I think I recommended it to people at the time. I was like, this was pretty good. I watched this. And so
I'm going to watch it every June from now on. It's my pride horror film.
Do not watch Babadook instead.
I'll watch both.
Yeah. Babadook is the pride horror.
Which we did
film.
cover, you guys. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it back.
Yeah, Baba
a few episodes back. But
apparently that Babadong article was from like 2015. I realized that afterwards and I was like, oh my God, that's embarrassing.
Well, it's okay.
Because I don't think
there are some out there,
it was
collector's
like
editions.
It was like a Kickstarter thing.
And so it never even got fully
I don't
made.
even think it ever got fully made. And I was like, damn, should we bring this back? Let's
get
the Babadong back out here. But yeah, I think I'd give it a 3 because overall I did enjoy it enough. Again, I would not watch it 500 times either.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm
Solid
less of a
effort.
person for watching it.
Solid effort.
Don't think it's one that I would watch every June. I would not.
Don't
Don't watch it every June.
It's seen now, and I gave it a 2.5, and you're giving it a 3. But I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
It is good.
It was all right. I probably might be even a little biased too because like there's gay characters in it
You're
and
like,
stuff, and it's like focused, around
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is nice.
But,
well, it is nice to see people like you on the screen. I mean, it goes with even just people of color and everything like that. But then seeing
there's representation matters.
who are like you, and same with like even people, like not being ableist and stuff like that. Like we need actual deaf people playing or hearing impaired or
that's true.
And stuff.
Yeah. You're right.
I mean, I feel like it definitely correlates to that. But do you want to tell them what we're watching next week?
Next week, we're going to be watching, since it's summer, right, you guys? Officially started maybe like a couple weeks ago, but we're going to be kind of kicking off a little summer series of all of the horror movies that kind of are related to or happening during summer, have those kind of themes through it. So next week, we're going to be watching Friday the 13th.
Your classic camp
the original.
horror.
Yep. Some
Camp Crystal Lake. We're going to get gutted.
Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't seen it in a really long time.
I don't think
honestly.
I've seen this.
Ever?
I think I've I have seen it, but I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid.
Literally same.
Since
So
I was
it's
like
been a long time.
young,
Mhm.
and so I
probably will
intrigued.
watch it with a different lens, because I know back then I watched it and wasn't too like impressed by it. And I feel like that's why I don't have like a reference,
any of the spin-offs.
for it. Yeah, because I wasn't too invested. Like I was more into like the Nightmare one, or I just never was a big Friday fan.
Yeah,
I was more into Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street. But
I am excited to cover it regardless.
I'm excited to look into it and have a good
and
perspective
actually
into
have a different lens. It's not as my little kid brain didn't know shit.
Yeah.
It didn't know anything.
Yeah, you don't
So,
appreciate it as much.
exactly.
But anyways, I'm excited. If y'all want to watch, please, or if you have any comments, boot ratings or anything, please drop it to us in our DMs, comment to it on us. Anyway. And
however you want to.
However you want to. Just get to us.
But we are, as always, we're in the new Rogue Media Network studios.
Very new. Very
they are
nice.
still helping us.
Very cool.
Yeah. Got fun new positions. We had to sit there and like take 5 minutes to figure out which chair we wanted to
Yeah,
be
it really did take a minute.
in.
But
I like this position,
I
though.
really do. It's really nice. I like it a lot. They take good care of us. You
We're
can
here.
always listen.
We're queer.
We are. You can always listen to us on roguemedianetwork.com.
That's right. And all of the other lovely podcasts that they have on there.
Please do.
And if you don't want to listen there, you could also listen on a slew of other podcasting hosts.
Yep.
Which are biggest
Apple
two being
Podcasts. Yep.
Apple Podcasts and Spoofy, or Spotify. And if you do want to reach out to us, like Josh was saying, and give us
please.
your ideas, your thoughts on Friday the 13th or this film, if you've seen it, you can reach out to us on our only platform, Instagram, and that is at
BooBaes Podcast, and that's BOOBAES, because we are your BooBaes, not your BooBabes.
That's right.
And we are always excited to hear from people on there.
Yeah, we love it. And we might not post all the time consistently, but we're getting better.
Yeah, we've got stuff for you coming. We're excited. We're only growing, getting better. Excited for more listeners and to just keep producing spooky, ooky, and fun content for y'all to listen to.
That's right. And wherever you do listen, please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbor, because it's the only way we will get ahead.
Yeah, please let everybody know. Please
yeah.
share your favorite BooBae.
Oh my goodness. I was listening to the Exorcist one, and at the ending we said, boo for now.
Boo for now. Aw.
So awkward. I love our sign off much more now.
So with the further ado, we bid you adieu, you guys. All right, how do we say it now?
I don't even remember. Now I'm panicking. Bye, Baes.
Bye, Baes. Bye, Baes. Until next time.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It's all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues on January 20th through the 22nd, 2023. Tickets are on sale now at roguecon23.com.
I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.